don't you wanna go? I'm going up the country, baby, don't you wanna go? I'm going to some place where I've never been before.
Hello faithful viewer, and welcome to episode 7 of our adventures through the Northern Territory. This one sees Lai and myself travelling to a place called Rainbow Valley, which is 75 k's south of Alice Springs. We then head back into the West MacDonald Ranges close to Alice and have a look at Simpson Gap and Standley Chasm. And near Standley Chasm, a little abandoned remote Aboriginal settlement called Jay Creek, which was set up originally for half-caste children. Not sure if that's a politically correct term these days, but that's what they were called then when they set the settlement in place, and today, as you'll see, it's abandoned. Anyway, enough from me. We'll cut to the video, and I hope you enjoy. Cheers. Back in the 1930s, for about 4 years, Central Australia was actually autonomous and governed out of this building here called the Residency in Alice Springs. Here's some shots around Standley Chasm. The main feature of Standley Chasm is that it faces north-south, and at midday or thereabouts the sun shines directly into the chasm and the light shifts from one side over to the other side, and you get some interesting lighting effects, which we've tried to capture in some of these shots.
It was initially called Gall Springs after a man called Spencer Gall, who was the manager of Owen Springs Station. Very interesting man in his own right, who invented the Bronco panel, which was used on all cattle stations from his time onward. He had found it while he was tracking up cattle or horses or both, and it remained that name until the 1920s and 1930s actually, and it was only then that Ida Stanley, who was the first major school teacher in Alice Springs from 1914 till 1929 really, she was obliged to move out here when the railway station was coming into Alice Springs. So the construction of the railway line and the railway station meant that the young Aboriginal children who she was teaching, they said, we've got to move them out to a place where they'll be safe from all temptations of their own as well as the temptations by the navvies, and they were shifted out here to Standley Chasm, or Jay Creek really it was, Jay Creek Settlement. And when they went to Jay Creek Settlement, there was a man called Ernest Kroll, who was a visitor here, who wrote very nicely about the country, and he said we ought to change the name to Standley Chasm to honour this lady, and it became known as Standley Chasm legally and formally thereafter.
Here at Jay Creek, on a red cliff face, is a rock art I painted. I did these paintings in the time just before land rights started. It was the early 1970s, when I was living and working at Jay Creek Community. I used to dig the well here. The area where my paintings are was a fenced-off area full of dingoes. So part of the painting shows 2 dingoes. Also there's 2 parenti and 2 women arriving carrying food and the children on their backs. There is also a painting of a stockman standing with his horse and a kangaroo, because I used to be a stockman myself. There is another painting that shows how to carve up kangaroo meat and how to share it out in the Aboriginal way. There are spears and boomerang also there. And there's an emu drinking water, but there's a man with a spear behind the bushes waiting for the emu to drink water, waiting to spear him. I was asked to do these paintings by the superintendent, Mr. Proven, when he was managing this community at Jay Creek. I think that old man passed away now, but his son and daughter are still living in Alice Springs.
On the road into Standley Chasm is this old burnt out car and a few bits of old engine and rubbish. It's the only thing that marks the entrance to Jay Creek. There's no other signage or anything. You really wouldn't know it was there unless someone told you.
From